What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews, and it seems like every December it's not only the Christmas season, but we also have the release of a new Star Wars film, and that's always a nice early Christmas present. Now of course the downside of being a Star Wars movie is that you always have some unrealistic, over-the-top expectations. And again, just like the previous film, fans are very polarized with this movie. Now, if pure numbers were the deciding factor on whether or not a film was a critical success, or even, dare I say, Oscar-worthy, then this film would be definitely a contender because it raked in so much money this weekend. I think it even topped previous records, probably from another Star Wars film. Now, putting obscenely high box office numbers aside, did The Last Jedi have the Force, or was it kind of lame? Well, let's take a closer look at Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now this is going to sound really stupid, but I have to do this for the archives, but Star Wars The Last Jedi really follows the continuing saga of the rest of the characters from the original film. Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, etc., and it also introduces new characters. And of course, this film has its own kind of special quality because it is the last performance of Carrie Fisher before she passed away. Now, before I get into what this film did wrong and what this film did right, I do want to pay special attention to Carrie Fisher, because I think they did something so beautiful here in the way they portrayed this character. She definitely has grown, and this is a very strong character, one scene in particular, which is not only memorable but incredibly emotional, and I think very, very elegantly done in terms of addressing the issue that she has passed on. Director J.J. Abrams not only was incredibly respectful with this very beloved character, but the tone was perfect in how he addressed the issue again, and he really kind of got a sense of Carrie Fisher's humor about life and death in general. And if you've ever read the book Postcard from the Edge, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, not everything is perfect, and there is a difference between mimicry and an homage, and I'm thinking that J.J. Abrams is kind of playing it safe just like he did with the original film. This is definitely the Empire Strikes Back of these new films. The reason that I mention this is that there's a lot of scenes in this film that are shot by shot with what you see at the Empire, particularly when you get to the Battle of Hoth. Now, most people probably will overlook this, but I have to say it was a little bit jarring because I'm thinking to myself there needs to be a little bit more kind of innovation when it comes to storytelling, particularly when you think about the graphic novels and the really cool things that they do in those stories. So it is sad to see that what we get on film is not as intricate as what we see in those Universal stories. They're really amazing. Also, there is a clear influence of Disney in wanting to make this movie a little bit more kid-friendly. And unfortunately, you notice it immediately. It is so out of place in this film, what I like to call stupid Harry Potter moments, and it's contrived as hell. I don't even know why they included this, because it was so stupid. But whatever, it is a Disney film, and I guess they have to market it to kids, but you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, from a continuity standpoint, there's also something a little bit weird that I noticed while reading the text at the beginning of the film. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it says because I don't want to spoil anything, but presumably a little bit of time has passed since the last film. Yet when we first see Rey and Luke Skywalker again, it's literally the scene after the end of the first film where she hands him back his Jedi weapon, which is a little bit weird. Now, all of the characters in this movie are very fleshed out. Now, I'm not sure if it's because of the writing or because we already had a film with all of these characters. Though I will say this, that some of the motivations of the characters are a little bit inconsistent, and I couldn't understand why they were doing some of the things that they did. That might be a flaw, but I think it was a more interesting flaw at least. I'm not sure how to explain it, but when you see the film, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I just don't want to spoil anything. Now, one of the real strengths of this film, just like the previous one, is that it does have a really great sense of humor about itself. It's not out of place, it's not forced, particularly with Poe Dameron's character. I mean, he's a cocky, hotshot X-Wing pilot, but he's really funny at the beginning of the film, and I actually was laughing a lot because of what was going on, especially his interactions with General Hux. That was fucking hilarious. Shit, was he a general or an admiral? I don't want to get my comment section blown up. Now, here's the really cool thing about this movie, though. Even if you don't really completely like the story, I mean, they reveal a lot, and I mean a lot in this film, and I'm not going to spoil it, of course, but I'm just saying, in terms of ambiguity, yeah, it's not there anymore. They answer a lot of questions about all of these characters. Luke Skywalker, in particular, is fascinating, and we finally get a sense of why the hell he went to the ass end of the universe to basically get away from everything. He was toiling with something deep inside, and we finally understand where his pain is coming from, and why he kind of turned himself off to the Force. I also have to admit, I wasn't as impressed with Kylo Ren as a character when I saw him in the first film, but he basically redeemed himself. We can see where the actual conflict is with Kylo Ren, and it is much deeper and darker and a hell of a lot scarier than I initially thought. This is an incredibly dark character. You'll see what I'm talking about, guys. And I think perhaps the most important part of this movie, the most important message, is the strong female archetypes. I mean, one of the fascinating things about this movie is that it really went into breaking stereotypes in terms of gender roles. If you'll notice, everyone in this film that had to make hard decisions, made sacrifices, that really went out to save the rebellion were female characters. And that is a powerful message, especially now with what's going on in Hollywood. And there is a cultural shift going on right now in terms of the inexcusable behavior of men. And this film is really something that I think moms really need to take their daughters to go see. What they've done here is an amazing reversal of gender, and I'm so glad they did this. It was long overdue, and props to Star Wars and Disney for being so bold in doing this. One thing I have to mention, Laura Dern in this movie. Holy shit, she's a freaking badass. Ultimately, guys, Star Wars The Last Jedi is a really good film, but you have to remember, it's not the end-all be-all, and please don't hype it up. Because it's a Star Wars film, you're going to be really disappointed. Take it for what it is. It's a film and an installment, part of a saga of a much greater story. Now, having said that, I'm putting J.J. Abrams on notice right now for the next film. I don't want to see another Return of the Jedi, okay? Please, I don't want to see some little animals save the rebellion again. You're on notice, J.J. Abrams, okay? Please don't do this. I don't want to see another Star Killer base that we gotta fly into the main reactor to cause a chain reaction, okay? That would be a shit film. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on Star Wars The Last Jedi. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews, and until then, may the Force be with you.